I have a goal to learn TIG welding. I've wanted to know how to weld aluminum and stainless steel for years now. It seemed so exotic to me, I had no idea how it was done. I didn't know anybody that welded aluminum or stainless steel. I did not know how I could learn, but now I have an opportunity to learn. I am in Thailand. I came over here actually to do this, and I found a fabrication shop that is allowing me to practice with their equipment. The way that I got into the shop was by presenting the owner with a sketch of a rocket stove. I asked if he could make such a project for me. He said yes. I asked him if I could help him. He said yes. That was my foot in the door, so to speak. By the way, I speak very low level Thai, quite poorly, and nobody in the shop speaks a lick of English. All of these deals were made with grunts, hand gestures, and with the use of Google Translate. Google Translate is quite amazing, and if two people from two different languages are willing to put in the time, they could actually communicate with this app. I am amazed. So now that I had my foot in the door and we had built the rocket stove, I found that I had access to it, and I had a good relationship with the people in the shop and a good rapport, and I now had access to all the tools. And I have told them that I want to learn to weld with TIG. They said sure. If it is true that if I watched, so it's so true that if I watched them closely, I would be able to figure out how to weld TIG. But I must admit that even though I think that I am watching closely, I must not have, because what they make look easy turns out to be impossible for me. I had a 5-minute lesson from P. Nui, who owns the shop, but it wasn't good enough at using Google Translate yet, and so much of it must have been lost over my head because I just couldn't do it. This led to them just letting me play with the welder on a table off in the corner for a couple of days. I watched a YouTube video, and I watched them when they were welding. I always went over and watched them. I watched a video or 3 on this subject, and of course I should read more in the near future and study more on the side. I'm presently confused as to why me following to the best of my ability the YouTube video threw me off so bad. The techniques and the end results of the YouTube video and what they actually do in this shop are actually so different. I was doing my best to follow what I remembered on the YouTube video, what they said to do, but I imagine the guys in the shop were wondering what the heck I was doing off. With hindsight, looking back a week, I see how much filler rod I had been wasting, and how they had just left me alone and let me play for 2 or 3 hours per day for 3 or 4 days. It was good because even though my welds were shit, which is fine, I'm just beginner, I'm not being self-critical, just being objective, I was learning some important elements of the process, such as I was learning how to control the power controls, how to set the argon gas controls, how long to hold the trigger, how high to hold the tip from the working surface, what angle to hold the tip, how to read the rod, how to feed the rod into the arc puddle. I may not have been any good. The welds might have sucked, but I was really learning some of the basics of the basics. So after 3 days of doing that stuff, the head welder comes up and he's going to give me a lesson. By this time, we have practiced with Google Translate a bit. We've communicated a bit, and we're not afraid to use it anymore. So he came over, and we used Google Translate, and he gave me some really good lessons. A really good lesson, 15, 20 minutes. So now I had a little, but now they had a little bit of dexterity and familiarity with the peculiarities of the TIG welding device. I was now able to accept, my brain was able to accept some of the things he was saying, and I could actually follow along a bit. He showed me how heavy-handed I had been. He turned down the power of the machine, and he showed me how to just simply tap the trigger. I just need to tap the trigger like it's as fast as when you're typing a letter on a laptop. Just bap, bap, bap. I had been going bam, 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 which is cool. I've been feeding in the wire, and I was learning some stuff, even though it looked like shit. I was definitely learning. But so he told me how to tap that sucker really slow. And it was strange how different the YouTube video was from what they wanted in this shop. And as I learn more, I'll probably figure out what the heck that's about. But yeah, right now I don't really understand. I was basically following a YouTube video, and yeah, that's cool. Spent 4 days fucking around with the machine, figuring it out, and that's good. I learned a lot, and so it made it clear to me how to think of okay. So some things I really learned from him was the direction of the arc, how to point the gun, the angle, and how to make really short bursts on the trigger, and also how to not be moving the gun in and out. Every time I'd go in, and then I would move the gun, but now instead of moving the gun, I just keep it still and slide it along the material instead of like picking it up and moving it to the next spot. So he made me aware that I needed to sharpen by grinder the tungsten tip more often. It was getting contaminated and rounded off. So here are some. So after my lesson with this guy, my second lesson, I'm able to butt joint some pieces of metal together. Okay, next week I want to practice. I want to put about 15-20 hours in at least. I want to practice butt joints more. I want to do a lap joint where one piece of metal is on top of another piece. This type of joint weld would require some filling rod, and I'll be proud of myself if I can figure out how to do it. I have some doubts I'll even be able to figure all this out, if I'll become a competent TIG welder at all. But I'm hoping for the best, and I suppose given enough time and practice, I can do it. This video is also a part of my learning process, that by documenting this, that I can improve even more than by having not documented it. Coming up in a bit is some video of the machine itself. Okay, so we have our basic controls on the TIG welder. Have our amperage, that's our power basically, high and low, so to speak. Not sure what that is, so we keep it at 5. And here's our power button. It's not plugged in. Here is our grounding, which we put on the table, of course, obvious to everyone but me. And then here's the TIG welder itself.